Hello everyone and welcome at Shanna. Now I've got my Christmas kit from Love from Lizzie. It's called Christmas in June. And I had taken it the other night and just cut up a bunch of the KCC 15 sketches. I've got all 18. We have the 15 sketches, but with 18 you can make 18 cards. And so I've got most of my pieces parts in these envelopes here. And we're just going to put together 5 cards on this video today. So here's what I've prepared for the first sketch. Somehow that red panel got a little bit bowed, so I'll bring in that magnet and lay down on it to help with that. But we'll just get some glue and get it laid down on there. And we'll have a nice little white edge around this. And I'm just going to lay that magnet on there just to make sure it seals really well. It was just a little bit bowed. I don't know if I had it bent in that tray that I had it in or what. So we've got just the strips of pattern paper. You have 2 of one pattern and then 1 of the other. I did use the cutting guide and cut all of these with the cutting guide, did all 15 of them with the 6 sheets of 6x6 pattern paper. And so we're going to, do it just like the challenge was designed for. I've worked with this kit already several times, and I've got several cards out of it. It is a very large kit with lots of pattern paper and bits and pieces. There's some die-cut pieces that you can pop out and add. There's a stamp set. There's a die, and they're the cutest ribbon and bows, coordinating ribbons and bows that's included in the kit. And just lots of kind of postage images with Santa and different things like that in the kit. And you've got some sentiments, just like I'm adding here. And I don't see that drop of glue there until I start working, I think, on the next card, and I actually wipe it off. I don't know how I missed that, but anyway, so these are the little pop-up, these little cutout pieces, and you can just add them just wherever on your card. I'm going to pop this one up with some little foam squares. So you can pick this kit up at Love from Lizzie. It's still available. And I'm still looking at it. I don't see that glue. I don't know how, it's like you can't see the forest for the trees. Now, in a minute, I'll look up and you'll see I'll reach up there and wipe it off. But it's funny how when you're in the thick of things, you don't even realize. I will put a link in my description box below for the Christmas in June kit from Love from Lizzie if you want to check it out. You certainly can. I did check and it is still available. So we'll get this panel laid down. It came from the same sheet that the other one did, so it's a little bit bowed as well. So I'm going to give it a good work over to make sure it gets laid down right. My card base is sticking over there, so I'm going to have to trim that up. And then we can get all that white that's poking around there. Now I've got a fingerprint glue on there, so I'm going to wipe that off. And then I evidently cut 2 of these gold mirrored panels. I must have had 2 pages together when I cut it and didn't realize it. So we're going to layer this up according to the sketch. And I'm just using some of that gold mirrored cardstock and then some of the pattern paper there. And I'm going to put some vellum over it too. I thought this would be kind of fun to bring in. There are several sheets of vellum. There's vellum with black printing, and then there's vellum with gold printing. And there's several sheets of that you can choose. Now, on the sketch for this one, it actually has a layer behind it. But for the, since I have the Love from Lizzie strips, I'm going to use those. And I've got some gold ones that'll look nice with it. I've decided to add a panel because I think I missed it when I was doing the cutting guide. And so I'm going to add this and just lay it down on our red. If I can get it lined up. I think I must have cut it wrong. I think I got the 4-part but I didn't get the 5 1/4 part, and or evidently I got the 5 1/4 and the 4 wrong. Anyway, there's where I finally saw that glue and wiped it off there. I'm glad I eventually caught it. So now we can get this laid down on our panel and we can start working with the rest of the elements of our card. So I've been working ahead, so I don't know exactly when this particular video will air, but I am going to have the rest of the set. I'm going to split it up into, I don't know, 3 or 4 videos and get them loaded on my channel and hopefully get them all in June, since this is the Christmas in June kit. I've got another kit that I'm going to start working with in July, so I want to get these cards cranked out and get my videos, and then we'll probably have some Christmas in July as well. So, you know, I like to send out a whole bunch of Christmas cards, and so I have to start, you know, early in the year to get them ready so that I'm not rushed in getting them done. So I try to do it throughout the year, and so you will get some Christmas video content throughout the year on my channel. So I hope you don't mind that. I know I don't like to think about winter in the summertime, but I don't mind thinking about making my Christmas cards. So here's one of the vellums pieces there, and I'm going to just get it laid down on the pattern paper. I'm just going to use a dot runner. There'll be some tiny little dots of adhesive on there, but it'll hardly show up, and it'll work out just fine. Put a little bit where the letters are too, and we'll just give it a press and get it pressed down on here. And I think I decided I'm going to pop that up and just give it a little bit of dimension. So bring in some foam pieces and just pop it up. Try to keep my Christmas cards fairly flat because I do mail quite a bit of them as well. But several of them, a lot of them go to the church, and we have a little, kind of like a little makeshift post office in the church at Christmas. And we can put them in that area so that everybody can just pick up their cards. Everybody's got a little slot for their cards, and we can just sort them alphabetically, put them in there, and then everybody can just retrieve them. That saves on postage, and you can do some pretty bulky cards that way too. You don't have to worry about your dimension on those. So I can put some good dimension on there. And I'll use some of these bows that are included in the kit for these, and they'll add quite a bit of dimension for the envelope and stuff, so it'll be fine to give those out at church. Now this one actually turns out to be my favorite one of the 5 that I make. Some of them I liked, some of them I didn't like, and this one I liked really well. So we're going to get it together. Now this is like a candy cane striped paper. And then we've got this cut apart, which was the deer scene with the Santa. It was just a little pop out. And so I'm not following the sketch exactly because this size isn't probably the dimension that she's listed on the sketch, but it's similar enough to use. I'm going to use some double-sided tape on this. I'm not sure why I chose to do that, but that's what I did. I guess, you know, I've got all these different adhesives in my stash, so I might as well use them up. So we're going to get this laid down on there. And I think it looks nice, but I feel like it needs something else. So I'm going to add this sentiment here, and we'll put it in the lower corner. And I'm running out of my adhesive here. This is the last little bit of it. And we'll get this laid down on there. Now I decide to grab these bows. I laid them out there to the side so I would see them and think about them. And this one has the red, the green, and the white in it, and it matches the background pattern paper. And so I'm going to add it to it. And I think it really made the card. I think it looks super cute with that on there. So I'm going to bring in my dot or some double-sided tape. I was looking for my dots, couldn't find them. And so I'm just going to use a double-sided tape strip here, tear tape, and then we'll put some glue so we'll have a quick hold and then a long-term hold for that bow. And I think it looks really cute. I really like this card. I think it's fun. So we'll just move on to our next card. Now this one was probably my least favorite of the 5 that I made. I wish I'd have used the gold for the very back panel, but I had cut it for the larger layer. It doesn't look like it's cut very straight either. I think I have to trim it up. I bring in this red with some, it's got some gold strips on there, and I thought, you know, it would kind of blend together and it will go with the other elements that I've already pulled in there. And I'm just going to cut it down to A2 size, and then we'll lay that gold glitter paper on top of it. And I like that paper. I wish I'd have put the gold on the back and the red on the front. Anyway, but I'm looking at this and it's not looking very straight. I think maybe I did trim it up already. I don't know. It just didn't come together for me, this particular card. But I'll get it laid down on there. And then we've got this strip here that is you know, part of the sketch. And I actually had this strip that I'd cut off of that red paper, and so I'm just using it. It was just laying there, so I thought might as well use it. And then I'm going to put these 2 layers on here a little different. The sketch shows it like this, where you've just got them layered as a frame, but there's so much gold glitter showing on this that I decide to spread them apart a little bit. And so I'm just going to spread them apart and kind of make like a, you know, a layering, and do it like that instead of how the sketch is showing it. And then it has a sentiment, which we've got Merry and Bright. I've got a piece of gold, and then I've got some of the vellum there. And we're going to just get these laid down on here. I just decide that's what I'm going to do. We're going to layer them up and then lay them down on our card base. And then I need to bring in that dot runner again and just put some strips of that on there, and we'll get it laid down on the gold. And we've got Merry and Bright. And I guess the card is kind of bright because it's got a lot of glitter on it. So I'm going to get it positioned. It's going to lay over the layers, so I'm bringing in another piece of that pattern paper and just gluing it down just to kind of help keep it level. And then we'll just glue it up and lay it down. So we've got Merry and Bright. And I just feel like it needs something else. So I'm going to look at it for a minute and try to figure out what I'm doing. It's just, I pointed at the gold. There's just a lot of gold. So I'm going to look at this bow and try to decide if I want to use it. It's a bright red bow, and I think it looks good. It kind of ties that red strip in. So we're going to lay it down. And I think this turned out better than where I was headed. So I think adding the bow really helped it out. So there we go. So we've got sketch 5 here, and this will be our last card for the day. And we'll just get it assembled. And I'll make some tweaks on this one too. I wind up changing some of the pattern paper out from it because I decide to go in a different direction. So I've got the blue mirrored cardstock here that we're going to use. And then we're going to use some blue pattern paper and some red and gold pattern paper. So this is the one that has like the banner that lays underneath the, you know, as the bottom panel. So I'll just fishtail this up real quick. And I probably should have done it in the other direction, put the red as the fishtail and the blue on top, just because we've got blue on blue here, but it'll work out. I've got that other blue banner, and that's the one I'll decide to change out. So we're going to lay this red on top of it. You won't see much of that blue anyway. It's just barely poking out behind there. And then we've got our bow that kind of matches. I threw it aside. And then I'm not liking this blue on the blue. It's really dark. And so I'll go fishing around and I'll come up with another piece of pattern paper. And I had that gold glitter that I used on that other card. I had a strip of it. And I thought, well, that'll match with the gold stripes on the red paper. So I brought it in, and we'll go ahead and fishtail it and make a banner out of it. And so I've got another blue banner that I can do something else with later. And there we go. That way we don't have 3 different pattern papers going on there. This kind of tones it down a little bit. Now we just need some focal elements. So I've got this wreath here, and I'm going to get it glued up and laid down on there, and I think it'll make a nice element. It's got a deer on it. And I thought about that bow, but I've already got a bow on the wreath, so I think that's why I decided to just forgo the bow on this and just leave it like that. And we could put a sentiment on the inside of the card. So let's just look at our 5 cards. We've got 'Tis the Season, and we've got To You and Yours. We've got Merry and Bright. We've got our Deer and our Santa, and we've got our wreath. And I think they all came together pretty good. So I've got 5 more Christmas cards for my Christmas stash. And I'm going to do a couple more videos that'll be coming up soon. So thanks for watching. I hope you have a great day. Take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.